Hello, everybody, and welcome to He Said.
And she said,
So, last week my husband did promise to come up with a topic, and he doesn't have one. So, on the fly, uh, I decided this week we're going to talk about how we manage our relationship without ever arguing, without ever calling each other out of our names, right? Because it seems as though
it's going to be interesting.
it really is. But as always, he didn't know what we were going to talk about, but I wasn't going to come up with a subject. People do ask me quite frequently, how do we have a relationship when we don't like raise our voices and we don't like he's never called me outside of my name. I think I said in the very first episode the worst he's ever called me is Sonia. So that's when I know something's wrong, like Sonia. So I know that's really important because this day and age people get together and they don't know how to communicate. And I'm not going to lie, out of the two of us he's the better communicator. People don't know how to communicate with each other. They get mad. They go to trying to hurt each other, hitting them low and saying things that later on they say they didn't really mean. But as my husband will say, if he says it, he means it. And people say things when they're really, really mad, and it doesn't mean they didn't mean it. They just didn't mean to say it. And now they're stuck with those words. So we're going to discuss how we manage this relationship with no ill words and no yelling, screaming, and choking each other out at the end of the night. So, you want to start on this, Mr. McQueen?
Like I said, it's going to be a very interesting, very interesting. Now, just to piggyback off what you were saying, I noticed some people when they in relationships, when they get mad at one another, oftentimes one of the individuals in the relationship will bring up something, maybe about a person's past that they shared with them that was traumatizing to them or that hurt them real bad or, made them feel pretty bad at a very low point in their life. And they'll share that with their significant other, just confide in them. And then the significant other will turn around when they get upset and get mad and bring that back up and throw it in the individual's face, knowing that that's something that, will hurt them emotionally. Just to, just being spiteful and just to, I guess, win maybe the argument or whatever the case may be. And those tactics, I can't understand. I can't understand if you claim you care about somebody or love them, why would you do that? That I've never understood. And me, myself, personally, that's something I've never done. Definitely not something I would ever even think about doing, especially to my wife that I know that I love. And if I'm claiming that I love her, I just can't see myself doing that, trying to say something on purpose to hurt her feelings, or make her cry. I just don't understand that. So I don't know. I don't know why people do it. But I would never even, like I say, that has never even crossed my mind to even do that ever in life. Let alone, once again, my wife, man, that I love so much. I just wouldn't do something like that. So, yeah. The son you're waiting for me to get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah. So we can get down to the nitty gritty. I used to think I was an excellent communicator. Not gonna lie, but what I learned about myself, because in this relationship I learned a lot about myself. I had to change my mean ways a little bit. But what I learned about myself was I'm not a great communicator. I'm great at telling you what I think, and then I'm done with the conversation. So that's what I've probably done all my life. I get to a point where I just feel like telling you what I think, and when I tell you what I think, if you try to have a rebuttal or something, or you want to discuss it, I'll look and say, I was done. You're still talking. But I was completely done. And when I say it, I mean it. But of course, I can't talk to Q like that, ever. So I had to learn to actually, number one, I had to learn I wasn't a great communicator, which just took me by surprise.
Is that
right? Yeah. And then number two, I had to, and I'm still working on this, learn to actually express myself and allow Q to express himself back, and get to a point where in that moment, Q always says he's not looking to be right. He's just looking to, what do you say? I'm not looking to win an argument. I'm just looking to.
When I'm communicating with my wife, everybody, I'm not concerned with winning or being right. I'm more concerned with a solution or resolving the issue.
That's what you have.
Yeah. So, but oftentimes, my wife, she's gotten a lot better. But let me tell you, early on in our relationship, she was more so into winning. The conversation. She was more so into winning the conversation. She wanted to be right. She wanted to be right. And I'm gonna tell you guys, if you want to be happy in your relationship, if you want happiness, you're not gonna have it if you're the one that always want to be right. So you have to make a choice. Either you want to be happy in your relationship, have a long-lasting relationship, or you just want to be right.
Can I have both? I want to be happy, have a long-lasting relationship, and I always want to be right.
Yeah, see, and literally, I think that's how most people want it. Most people in a perfect world, they always want to be right, and they want a long, happy relationship. But you can't have both. You really can't. It's either or. So it's just all about, and that comes with compromising. You got to compromise. Now, especially with us men. We as men, y'all know, we on that beating our chest, putting down, and we want to be right. At all costs, we want to be right because we figure, hey, I'm the man. I said it, and that's what it is. And I don't want to hear no more about it. Because most men just want peace and quiet, and just want to be left alone. But, guys, I'm telling you, if you want a happy and lasting relationship, you got to compromise. You got to compromise and just take a moment, take a step back, and listen to what your wife got to say. Listen to what she got to say. Now, I'm definitely not telling any man or anybody for that matter to always agree. You don't have to agree. You don't have to agree with one another if you're having a debate or issue. You don't have to agree. But what you do have to do, you have to respect one another's opinion and really listen to what your partner is saying to you. And oftentimes we don't listen. We don't listen. I'm saying we hear the other person talking, but we're not really being receptive and thinking about what they're saying, so we can try to resolve the issue. Oftentimes we just what we be doing, Miss Son? What we be doing, baby?
No. What are we doing?
Yeah. Well, oftentimes, like I said, we hear the other person speaking, but we just hear them.
Oh, you tune them out.
Yeah, you tune them out. Not only do you tune them out, you waiting on them to shut up, or you'll either just cut them off so you can rebuttal. Yeah, you just want to rebuttal and get your point across. You know that most people just want to get their point across and want to be heard and want to be right. And if I can tell anybody, if you take that route, you are not gonna have a happy relationship. It's just not gonna be successful, and you're not gonna be happy. So once again, if you want to be happy, you got to listen to what your partner is saying, listen to their concerns. And once again, now, if what they're saying is not right, because you may not agree, but it's a way you go about letting your partner know that you don't agree with them. It's a way of going about doing that. And then if you don't agree, the partner has to take a step back and listen as to why you don't agree. And it's just all about having an adult conversation with one another, you know, and just try, like I say, and trying your best to find a resolution to whatever the issue is. Not about being right.
And to piggyback off of you now, I want to give a great example of something I used to do, and it took me seeing somebody outside of our relationship doing it that made me stop. So Q used to talk, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, when is he going to be quiet? So I can say all this stuff, because I'm trying to remember everything I got to say. So I'm not concentrating on whatever he's saying. I'm concentrating on remembering. So much so, I will probably start writing or, playing on my phone to put stuff in my phone, because I don't want to forget anything I have to say. Which means what he's saying, yeah, you're talking. I hear some of the stuff you're saying, but I got to get these points across so you can see how right I am about everything. But then at work, I have a position where there are people, directors, who report to me, and there's this one particular one. And every time I get ready to talk to him, it's like, and he's like this the whole time I'm talking. So I'll finally sit back, close my mouth, and smile. And I'll say his name. I'm just going to make up a name. John, go ahead. You just can't wait for me to shut up so you can talk. And there's nothing I said that made a difference to John anyway, because all John wanted to do was tell me everything that was on his mind. So nothing I said mattered. In the end, I'm going to have my way there because I was the boss. But it made me realize, even though I wasn't to Q, I still wasn't focused on what he was saying, because I just really wanted to say what I had to say. So if you know somebody at work and you're trying to talk to them, and they always like waiting on the edge of their seat because they got to say what they have to say, just be quiet, because they're not paying you no mind anyway. They're not paying you any mind. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, man, that it's so crazy. And I think, in my opinion, that more than not, people have that issue of not really caring what somebody else have to say, or listening to what another individual has to say, and just wanting to get their point across, and want to be heard. And because of that, this is why you have, especially in a relationship, the communication is just so broken down, and there is none. So if you can't listen to your partner, and be receptive, and like, and when I say listen, I mean literally sit down and listen. Just sit back and listen to what they're saying, and internalize it and try to make sense of it, because sometimes it may make sense what the individual is saying. It may make sense. So just definitely sit down, listen to reason. Have a discussion with your partner and listen to reason. Don't listen to respond, but listen to reason. And I promise you, if you do that, you will have a long-lasting, happy relationship. Because at the end of the day, being in a relationship, one of the most important parts of being in a relationship is being happy. That's one of the most, if not the most important thing. Because everybody know y'all want to be happy. Everybody want to be happy. Not everybody know how to accomplish that and get to happiness.
Right.
But everybody wants to be happy in a relationship. And if you truly want happiness, then one of the ways to obtain that happiness is by listening to what your partner has to say when it's time to communicate. All right? Because oftentimes we get upset with one another. And once we get upset with our partners, we don't want to listen. We just want to do all the talking, but we don't want to listen because we're upset. And all we want to do is express our frustration. And there's nothing wrong with expressing yourself. And there's nothing wrong with expressing your frustration. But once you do that, you give your partner a chance to respond to what you said. But the bickering and the arguing, nobody's going to get a point across. Nobody. And then oftentimes, of course, it end up bad. Breakup, sometimes physical. You know, it end up in a bad situation. So me personally, I can honestly say I don't think, I'm just thinking back, I can't, I'm just not an argumentative person. I'm just not. One thing about me, I'm not arguing with anybody. Point blank, period. I'm definitely going to say what I have to say. And what I do is I say what I have to say, and I make sure I watch my tone, and I make sure I watch my words. Okay, because one thing about me, I don't ever have to apologize to my wife or anybody for saying something that I feel. Ever. Because one thing about me, if I say something, I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. So there is no, I was just upset. So, you know, baby, I'm sorry, I was just upset. I didn't mean. She would never have to worry about that. If I said it, even if I'm upset, if I said it, I meant it. But I'm not, like I say, I'm not going to say something to my wife that's so bad that I'm going to have to take it back, or I didn't mean to say it. Now, what I will apologize for, if I say something that hurt my wife's feelings.
I was going to say that.
Yeah. If I say something that hurt my wife's feelings, not that I didn't mean what I said, but if it hurt her feelings, that's never my intentions. It's never my intentions to hurt my wife's feelings, ever. So I will apologize for hurting her feelings because that wasn't the intent behind it. Maybe I was trying to get my point across or whatever, and maybe she took it the wrong way or whatever the case may be, but it's never my intentions to jug at my wife, you know, or stab at her, or, you know, or try to hurt her on purpose and hurt her feelings. I would never do that, never have done it, just never will, period.
He's telling the truth. He's telling the truth, and he will, if something really bothers me that he says, he will apologize. I'm just learning to do that. If I say something that bothers him, but I think I always see Q, he's such a manly man, that there's nothing I could say or do that would bother him really, or hurt his feelings, but he's human. So that's absolutely not the truth. He's human. So it can happen. It has happened, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
And I'm learning to apologize for that part, but not, always for what I say, because I'm like you. I don't argue. I was trying to think of a time I ever heard my mother yell. And she can be loud, but she doesn't yell. Or my father. I've never even heard my father be loud. My brothers, never. My aunts, my uncles, nothing. So I didn't come from a family that argues. Some people, that's all they know. They're loud, they argue, they curse you out or whatever, and that's just me. I don't think you have to accept ever somebody cursing you out. I was telling Q, there was somebody who wanted to talk to me about her husband, And what happens is her husband gets upset with her, and he'll call her the B word and call her way outside of her name. Just talk crazy to her. And she was crying for like an hour and a half. And no matter what I said, my whole ending point, this is her husband, they've got kids, is y'all need counseling. That was my whole, she didn't hear me at all. She just wanted to keep telling me about her husband and telling me. So after a while, I knew I just needed to shut up and listen. Because that's all some people want sometimes, is for you to listen.
Right.
And not to get involved or to take a side, because I promise you, it wasn't that week. It had to be the next week. I seen them both together, all hugged up and kissed up and all that. But probably 2 weeks later, she's in my office again crying about the same person. So their relationship's a roller coaster, and I don't know how anybody can put up with that, but I'm not one to judge. So I would never judge what somebody else does put up with. And I try to stay in my lane and mind my business. My thing is always stay safe. If somebody puts their hands on you, I'm going to tell you to do something I wouldn't do. Call 911. I'd handle things my own way, I think. And take care of your children. Make sure your children, if your children see this behavior, let's just pretend Q calls me all kinds of names, and we have a small child in the house, and the child hears that and sees me putting up with it. If that's a boy, when he gets older, that's what he's going to do to his lady.
It's a true story.
Oh, you B, F you can get out of here, you're nothing. And if it's a girl, she could go either way. I mean, both of them could go either way, but chances are that young lady's going to grow up and she's going to be docile. And some guys, she's going to find a guy who has no appreciation for her, no real appreciation, and talks to her crazy, and she's going to deal with it because she's seen her mama deal with it.
That's right.
So that's one of those things when people say break generational curses so that your children don't go through the things that you might go through or you've seen your parents go through.
That's right.
Right?
That's right, guys. So me and my wife, we can't express it enough to you guys out there. It's important in a relationship that you respect one another, especially when you're out in public, at a family event or in a store or wherever. Please, guys, don't get into an argument out in public. Getting loud, belligerent with one another in public. You're embarrassing each other.
Absolutely.
You're embarrassing your partner, and then you're embarrassing yourself. So if you're upset with your partner, you need to wait. Wait till y'all get in the car and express yourself, or wait till you get home. But don't, argue, out in public or at family functions. That's a no-no. And not just even the arguing thing. Even if maybe you're upset with your partner. Maybe y'all had a disagreement before you got to the function, the family function or something. Try your best to leave that stuff at home, or when y'all was in the car, y'all had a disagreement. When you get there, try to enjoy yourself. Try not to harbor those feelings, because believe me, family or the function that you have, people are going to notice how you act, and they're going to feel that vibe, and then it's not going to come off well, especially if you're around people that you don't know or you've never met before. They're going to feel that vibe, and they're going to think that you're acting funny towards them. They may take that the wrong way, not understanding that you had some underlying issues or some issues that you were dealing with prior to getting to the function or whatever. So try your best to suppress that. Try. I know it's difficult, but try to suppress it, and enjoy yourself at the function or whatever, and And then once you leave, then you guys have that discussion. Because I remember when me and my wife, when we during the early times of our relationship, like I said, I'm a person, I like to resolve issues immediately. I don't like.
I got to sit up. I don't know what he's going to say.
Yeah. Don't get scared. Don't be scared. But I was just thinking. I remember early on in our relationship, when an issue would arise, I would like to resolve it or talk about it immediately, because that's me. I like to talk about it, resolve it. And she could tell you, my main thing is let's move forward. Let's talk about it, baby, so we can move forward. I'm not into staying stagnated on something or backtracking. That's not my thing. I'm all about progress and moving forward. So I would want to, talk about it. And one of her things is, like most people, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I
But
just
why?
don't want to talk
Why
about
would
it.
I? What did I tell you? I always did.
Well, I'm just saying, but that's most people. What I'm saying, most people will be like, they don't want to talk about it because they too upset. They too upset. What?
My thing was,
Good.
sometimes I'd have to check myself because I know I can be very, I'll just assume something. So sometimes I have to sit back and see if it's me. And I told Q, I don't want to tell you every single time something's bothering me. I have to assess it on my own first to see if it's me. I am good at judging when I'm the problem. Or
Is
when
that right?
I am good at judging when I'm the problem, y'all. Or when when I'm wrong, or sometimes I don't sleep well. Like I didn't sleep last night, I didn't sleep the night before, and for some reason I become much more sensitive when I'm really tired. And so sometimes I have to just sit back and assess it for myself. And I'll tell myself in a minute, I was tripping. I let it go. Now what you'll see is a day ago I was acting crazy or funny, not crazy, but funny, maybe standoffish, maybe I, walked by, didn't speak a couple of times or something, I was slow to cook, I don't know, whatever it is. And he'll notice that. And so we discussed it because I told you that I just need to be off on my own. And your response was, just tell me, even when you're feeling some kind of way, baby. I'm feeling some kind of way today, so I might be extra quiet, or I'm gonna stay downstairs all day, or I'm gonna stay upstairs all day. I'm just gonna go bake 5 cakes, whatever. Just tell you so you're not sitting there like wondering what the hell you did wrong.
Exactly.
Now.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
That's hard to do too, though. Sometimes I just want to think. So.
Yeah, well, she's gotten a lot better. But what I've learned, and because she's the way that she is, and me being a husband, now, once again, I used to want to, discuss whatever's going on immediately. If I notice a problem, I want to discuss it right now. Well, let's discuss it right now. But I've learned my wife. I've learned her ways. So when I see like something's bothering her, whatever, guess what? I give her that space. Now, not saying that's not my preference. That I rather just talk about it and get it out the way, because my thing is this. This is my theory. My thing is, an idle mind is the devil's playground. That's my theory, and I just feel, I'm just a person big on, energy and stuff, negative energy and negative spirits and all. I'm really big on that, and I just don't, entertain that kind of stuff. Me myself, I don't like entertaining negative energy and negative spirits and all that kind of stuff. So I like to confront them immediately and deal with it and get it on out the way. Because oftentimes when you don't do that and you allow that negative energy or those negative spirits to just, linger around and attack your mindset.
That's
A lot of times it turns out even worse because the person end up thinking all sorts of negative things instead of positive. Instead of trying to resolve the issue, they have these negative thoughts, and then what they turn around and do is call another individual that's dealing with their own negative spirits and negative energy and perpetuate that and tell the individual, no, you shouldn't listen, and no, you need to do this. And you taking on those spirits now, taking on that negative advice, and the other individual may not even have really done anything, and now they really attacking their mate with all kinds of negative stuff. So that's my whole theory on that. That's why I just don't like for that stuff to, like the term you just used, to fester and manifest and snowball into just a bunch of negative stuff. So I just like to deal with it, like I say, resolve it, get over it, and move forward. She know that's always been my thing. But once again, she my wife. I love her. So she need time to reflect or think or whatever the case may be. I give her that time to do that. And what I do is I
go watch TV.
I get the dice, I shake them up, and I roll them, and I hope it's a good outcome. I be rolling the dice on that when I let her think to herself, because I'm praying and hoping. All right, well, I hope everything okay. I hope everything all right, because when I tell you, I be scratching my head like, oh boy, what I did now. And I'm telling you, I have no clue. Listen, sometimes she be mad, and I have absolutely no clue. So don't think like she be mad because, we done had a discussion or we done had a disagreement. Sometimes she'll get mad, and I have no clue as to why she's mad.
And I've told him it doesn't mean it has anything to do with him.
I'm just saying,
but
I get the brunt of it, though.
My phone, I am the CCO of a company. My phone is constantly ringing with people who have issues at work, and it just becomes overwhelming sometimes. Doesn't mean I'm mad. I just get quiet, and I'm off on my own. That's all. He knows when he makes me mad.
Listen, what I know. No, I don't. That's a bold face lie. Most of the time, I do not know when I make her mad. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, even that, guys, you can't let work affect home. That's a big no-no. Leave work at work. Home is for home. So you can't do that.
My work follows me everywhere. You know it. Yesterday, my phone rang about 9 times work, and it was Saturday. Today's Sunday. I had about 3 text messages today. It follows me all day. But anyway, has nothing to do with this conversation. Anything else?
Well, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. Just make sure you communicate to get an understanding. That's the most important thing we want you guys to take away from this. Communicate with one another to get an understanding.
And not to be right, not to win.
Yeah, that's not most important to be right or to win the conversation. Not if you want happiness and you want to be in that relationship and you want it to last. Then don't worry about being right. You know what I'm saying?
With the communication, if you communicate, you both win. Period.
That's true.
You both win.
That's a good way to look at that, Miss Son. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
You like that, huh?
Yeah, I like that.
I know.
Yeah, if you guys, if you're successful in communicating in your relationship, then, like my wife say, you both win. It's a win-win for both of you all. So, and that's the way to look at it. Point blank, period.
You like saying point blank, period.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we're going to end on that note.
Yes.
I would say my husband will pick the topic next week, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys now what the topic next week will be, and then he'll think about what the topic next week After next week will be. All right. So we touched on people picking up the phone, calling. My husband actually picked up on that. Calling to complain about their mate to other people. I want to have a discussion about that. Because that's something I've just never done.
Okay.
And so we'll discuss that next week.
Yeah, that should be a good one.
Yeah.
That should be a good one.
This is a good one. I like this one.
You like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I like you, Miss.
I know you do.
Yeah.
You'll tell me how much later.
Yeah. I'm a lucky man.
All right. Peace. Have a
See you
good
guys
evening.
next week.